Welcome to Biz Coach and Coffee, where our guests are experts, entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants that share tips, strategies, and tactics to help small business entrepreneurs grow their business for long-term success. Please welcome your host, Biz Coach Steve Feld.
Hello, I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld, and my goal is to stop business owners from suffering entrepreneurial depression and start making running their businesses much easier. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to crack multiple 6 and 7 figures without burning themselves out. Today, we have another great guest for you. We have Tess Vergara. Now, Tess, she's a heartfelt centered coach. So we're going to talk about what she has and how she's really helping the world. So welcome, Tess.
Hi, I'm so happy to be on your show, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. Well, the first question I always have to ask is like, why did you start your business? What was that moment to say, okay, enough's enough, I'm going to start my business?
Right. Well, I love how you're working with others because I went through that depression, burnout myself. I was an executive at a nonprofit, doing accounting, right? So all of a sudden, something I could do in my sleep, I couldn't willpower myself to do. And so that spun me into depression, that spun me into burnout. And I couldn't look at myself in the mirror anymore. I didn't know who I was anymore. So I got into that crisis mode. And I didn't know at that time that it was a soul depression. It was a spiritual depression, if you will. It was a calling of the soul to be more than what I've accepted myself to be. I didn't know that there was a next part to the journey. So that's what propelled me to when I got into the transformation. Oh my God, I can heal myself without the meds, without the pharmaceutical interventions. And it is through a totally different way. Then that's when I said, okay, people has got to know that they have their power already in them. And the trick is to find and connect with this power to live a very satisfying, very vibrant, fulfilling, and abundant life.
Nice. And who are your primary customers, clients?
Yeah, they're change makers. So they can be in the traditional business, small business owners, leaders, and executives to the change makers of the world. Uh, it's about, it's one set is very intellectually driven, give me strategies and I'll work this out. And the other is more heartfelt, more spirit driven. This is what I want to do in the world. But the thing is, from thoughts to things, emotions get in the way, the mind gets in the way, and sometimes we have spiritual blocks. So I, from an accounting perspective, right, I was a finance director. My job is to align the 4 pillars that I call it, the spiritual, the mental, emotional, and physical, into one pillar of light, so that we have that access to vital life force energy, which when we're compartmentalized, just the intellectual, this is who I am, this is how I'm going to run my business. It's so rigid. So, this is what, and it burns you out. The same thing with the spiritual centered people, right? If there's no money to pay your light bills, that is usually the problem in that area where you're so heart driven, there's no money in the bank. That can also contribute to the stress and burnout and depression.
Oh, absolutely. And when someone comes to you, what do you see what do they say is their top problem and they seek you out?
Sometimes it's weight gain. Sometimes It's the pretending problem is never the problem. You know that, right? So it is a dissatisfaction in an area of their life, may or may not be related to business. It may or may not be procrastination. That because the top achievers um wouldn't expose that, wouldn't admit that they have fear inside of them.
Yeah.
Or the other side is like more connected with their fear that they can't take so the executives are used to taking actions. Yeah, very action driven. The
Yeah.
spiritual minded ones, I'm just gonna let God, divine spirit, to put it on my dinner table. So
Wow.
I,
I know.
right. So it's a totally different mindset, if you will. But it's both, the approach to both is the alignment.
Great. And if you don't mind sharing, I mean, can you give us like an idea, like how can a business owner, it's like, they're that analytical and they're just not in sync and things are not going real well. How can you really work with them and get them centered again?
Right. For me, I thought an example would be myself, and a lot of the people I coach are like that. You're set in life. If I ask them, "What's your business vision? Where would you like be?" Well, I'm a 9. Well, how can you make it a 10, right? But
Mhm.
then if you ask them about the other areas of their life, they're feeling unfulfilled, empty, alone, and they're hanging on to their business success, as a way to fill themselves up. But underneath there is a sense of depression and burnout. Like there's not even a motivation left because they've already reached the peak of their success, but the soul anguish is so strong. So how it's like it's a one-on-one magic when I'm working with a client, where I take them to a part of themselves that is non-physical, the spiritual. And they have a glimpse of that. They taste it, they feel it in their body. And also self-awareness, a higher awareness that you are not just your thoughts, you are not just your beliefs, you are not just your bank account, you are not just your business. Who you are is so much more. But when we limit ourselves to that identity, sometimes there's a crisis inside of us that happens, that triggers that, okay, I want to be set free of this. But then what happens? We have a lot of distraction. There's alcohol consumption, right? The red wine that sometimes doesn't feel, it's not dangerous. It's just one a day, then becomes two a day, then becomes three a day. So usually that kind of crutch to numb their feelings down, to numb that longing deep inside. One day it becomes, okay, too much. If I don't stop now, I will risk my business, I will risk my family. They're at level 9, right? They're at level 9, but their behavior, their addiction is showing them something different. So sometimes it has to be that level of in your face for them to, okay, there's something going on here, something is out of alignment, and I need help. And usually that's when they come to me, or something like a new client of mine. He's an NLP practitioner. He knows all the tricks to bypass, the spiritual change that has to happen,
Yeah.
but he can't willpower himself anymore. So that's why he's my client. And I asked him, why did you pick me of all the other business coaches out there? He has no clue, but there's something in the words that I say that catches their attention.
And that's key. Great. And Tess, we were talking about, asking for help. I mean, it's definitely what I preach a lot is you can't do it all yourself. And especially going business owners nowadays, I mean, for years, decades since business was around, you can't do it yourself. And nowadays, with all the specialities, you really need that help. So when they're coming to you, what is like one thing you actually learned the hard way that you would tell yourself, hey, learn this now when you first started your business?
Yeah, the one thing that I learned, we rely on our mental strength to power through what it is that we need to do. But sometimes the mind, our own mind, will limit us, not out of bad intention, but it's because it's its job,
Right.
right? So the mind tends to fragment, to compartmentalize our life, to make it easier, to make it, to avoid that overwhelm, to get things done. But that compartmentalization, what I learned is what worked against me. So yeah, I didn't know that as energetic beings, we are all energy. It's one thing. We are energy beings. We can't compartmentalize. When we create that compartmentalization, we feel broken. We feel weak. And then we muscle through just to maintain that strength, but it's not enough. And we will never feel 100% confident, 100% certain about our own strengths and gifts to the world if we remain compartmentalized. So that's one huge aha for me. And I'm like, perfect. I know how to reconcile. So I bring that reconciliation, that balancing
Yeah.
into creating that inner harmony inside.
That's it. A lot of times business owners are stopped just because of their own mind, not because of anything in reality, not one thing.
Correct.
It's just amazing. Tell us, I'm always curious because we have entrepreneurs, small business owners, coaches, consultants, and experts listening. It's like, what is a challenge or failure that you've encountered in your business and how'd you overcome it?
Oh, the first thing was my pattern of just wanting to stay back, like a wallpaper, like a wallflower, if you will. Um, I've always just been supportive, and I didn't know that for me to step into this business, I have to create my own profile. I have to be visible. Like no one would know that I'm around, that I'm available to help people if I don't step out. That's the very first thing. I think a lot of coaches would just sign up for this course and then you're able to coach. No.
No.
And I was like, oh, no one's calling. No one's signing up for my services. And then I went through a series of Mm, free coaching, right? Because that's the formula that is offered. Offer free coaching and then offer paid service. But from that, so that's why I teach a lot of money breakthrough. It's because I've had to go through all that. And I thought as an accountant, I thought I had a great relationship with money. I thought I know how to count it, but that's all I knew was to count other people's money. So I had to step into that too. So those are the two main things that I had to learn is to step into the spotlight. And with that stepping into the spotlight, I need to know what value I'm actually offering uh, the business owners that hire me.
Exactly. You brought up CPAs. I mean, most of my one-on-one clients are CPAs, and it just happened to be like that. They're great with numbers, great with rules and laws and everything. When it comes to their own business, that's not their strength.
Yes.
Great. What is something, all our guests gives our listeners something to help them in their lives or in their business and make life better and business better. What is something you can offer our guests, our listeners?
Great. So I would love to gift your listeners a get your shift together report and how to soul power anything that you desire in life, whether it's your business growth plan, whether it's your relationship, whether whatever it is that you want to get your shift together on. And what is it that stop you? Okay, so from your one-on-one coaching with Steve, you already know that you want to grow your business 10 times next year. Well, what gets in the way, right? So even after you go to a personal development, business development course, you already know everything intellectually, but what stops you? That's the report I want to give you. And having that self-awareness of what causes change in people, because when you know what your stopping point is, then you can choose differently.
Absolutely. And you kind of nailed it. It's like a lot of business owners really know their craft. They know what they're doing. They're crystal clear, but they're just not reaching those goals. And it's their own mind stopping them.
Right, right.
Amazing how that dang mind does some wonderful things, and it also sabotages us sometimes.
Yes, yes, and it's a beautiful mind. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly.
But the thing is, my policy is no parts left behind. So we're not gonna diss on the mind, right? The mind has its intention, but
Mhm.
also don't forget that you have your emotional health, you have your physical health, you have spiritual health, along with the mental health that all have to be reconciled, working together, integrated, so they're functioning as one. And when you're functioning as one, you are 100%, you know with certainty what you want, and you know with certainty that you can actually achieve it, and you will not get in your own way.
Absolutely. Well, we're almost at time. What is a parting thought you'd like to tell everyone?
You are a sovereign being. And that is a concept that not a lot of people know about us humans. We are sovereign, we are soul powered already, we are whole. So the four pillars that I talk about, when one is fragmented, fractured, when you're feeling all over the place, you feel like you're broken and you are unwhole. You are already whole. And so the thing is to just peel away like an onion, peeling away the things that may be building an identity, a false sense of self that supports the brokenness, the not enoughness, the lack, the survival, the scarcity, and all that. And that is a distortion of who you are as a soul powered self. So you are soul powered. You are a powerful creator of your reality, of your experience, of your business. It is about the soul asserting itself over survival and coping mechanism, and that is the work, shifting from fear power to soul power, and you can do it.
Oh, excellent. Well, thank you so much, Tess. Folks, we'll have the URL to Tess's offer in the show notes, so please take advantage of her offer and shift yourself, get to that better lifestyle that you are looking for. Thanks again, Tess. And
Thank you, Steve.
folks, please, if you'd like Tess and our other guests, please make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast channel. And I'm sure Tess likes to feel a little love, so give her some positive reviews. We all love it. Help us out here, or share the podcast with other fellow business owners, entrepreneurs, and help them have a better business. This is Biz Coach Steve Feld wishing you and your business much success.
We hope you enjoyed today's topic. If you'd like to discuss how you can apply these strategies in your business, let us know. This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your own expert book written about you in 30 days. Set yourself apart from the competition. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to give us your comments. We look forward to hearing from you on Biz Coach and Coffee.